So, you wanna know the reason behind the claim? I'ma say it first, the writing and the pacing of this story is bad. Or should I say, why is it bad? In today's video, I would like to elaborate on how do I came to such conclusion and give you the reasoning behind my claim. I want to clarify that I am not a very professional writer by any means, but I have years of experience in writing, or to be exact, 11 years. My professional experience may not be as deep as some out there, but it is more than enough for today's video. The story starts with Sirius and Orion clashing together and Han Hao stating that he had made lots of mistakes, with none of them being forged into lessons yet or some shit, and asks Stalker to intervene with the clash as quote-unquote a new and terrible education awaits. As you arrive, you are somehow an enemy to Sirius and Orion and you need to fight both of them, which is absurd. Like, this is the first part that it just doesn't make sense. Sirius and Orion travel from their parallel futures to the origin system to find Stalker, so why is both of them somehow fighting against, even hurting the person they are seeking? What? If you listen to Ryoku's dialogue...
Oh, indeed. How can we both be here? Do you not recognize your own son, Sirius?
It implies that both Sirius and Ryoku knew who Stalker is. Even if there's a completely different variation of dialogue, depending on who is the primary son, Ryoku affirms the point through,
Your father will follow the righteous path eventually, even if he chose the other. Even if he chose Orion.
This still implies that they both knew who he is. Even if you listen to Venus' dialogue after Sirius and Ryoku leaves, it still implies the same outcome. True?
How? Does it matter? We're here. Orion, Daddy doesn't recognize you.
Miss, you are weird as fuck, but whatever. She clearly knows who he is. So, riddle me this. Why are you all fighting Stalker then? Makes no sense at all. Anyways, once he returns to Han Hao, the truth is explained to him. Basically eternalism or multiverse shenanigans with a cool and auraful name, and their respective future needs him to not be doomed. But here is my question. Why do they need the quote-unquote current Stalker in their timeline? We knew that one of them will be doomed if they don't, but the problem is this is a parallel future, which means that Stalker already exists in their timeline. So what does quote-unquote current Stalker serve for their respective future then? A catalyst? A medium? The reason is never elaborated further to give us some perspective of their timeline and how devastating it is to not have this quote-unquote current Stalker in their timeline. Then, Han Hao also states that Stalker needs help, but throughout the convo, he also agreed to Stalker that the Tenno, even Lotus, shall not be involved. But then, why are we in the Tenno's ship then? You said you don't need help from them? Sure, buddy. After drawing all this attention away, you can finally go into the room, and then you found Excal Umbra and asked for his help, and he agreed. So, you are telling me that somehow Umbra just so happens to be there, and Stalker somehow knew where he will be and knew where to find him, and somehow Umbra also agrees to help him, knowing that he is an enemy of the Tenno, with absolutely zero conflict. Does this also mean that Umbra somehow knew what is going on around Stalker? And because quote-unquote, actually, he used to be a father, he chose to help the enemy of the operator, the stalker? What? Han Hao doesn't even tell you who to seek, ways to track him down and finally confront the person that you need help from, with a battle or anything that fits the narrative you wish to go. But no, you go to Thanos' ship to find Umbra because he is conveniently there and will immediately agree to help Stalker if he asks. Brother, don't you think that this is incredibly illogical? There are zero natural progression to this pivotal part of the story because it is immediately reached. No sense of struggle, no sense of suspension, nothing. This makes the story and the writing felt incredibly cheap and lazy. Stalker never really earned the help himself. Umbra just so happens to be there and somehow choose to side with him. No signs of moral conflict, nor a picture of how Umbra feels. Like, I don't know, recall something, or at the very minimum, let Stalker show some actual proof of what he needs his help for. But nothing. I go to ship, I ask for help, I shake hands, GG. This part of the writing is just bad. And then, both Stalker and Umbra are tasked to intercept the data that will locate both Sirius and Orion due to the clash that occurred in Orb Vallis. With the info now intercepted, the next plan is to restrain both Ryoku and Vina. And as for Umbra, he's gonna look after Stalker's son. Bro, you told Stalker that he needs some help. All of that build up all leads to quote-unquote, the child is temporarily fatherless when Stalker is hunting down the mentors of Sirius and Orion. This writing, man. After unveiling Venus' secrets, Stalker directly confronts her with the goal of keeping her restrained. Throughout the fight, it's just a quote-unquote mission tutorial. Like, the story doesn't really expand upon this mental role of Garuda Protoframe, the significance of Vina in Orion's life. There are some tidbits like the dark future that should not be allowed, Orion fighting alone against Sirius, Cephalon powers, blah blah blah. This is the perfect opportunity to build the lore behind them, and this is all you can do? We sure love to do Garuda dirty when it comes to having some lore, huh? Gotta keep the tradition going in the dark future too, I guess. Ryoku is much better when it comes to this matter, like, just listen to it yourself.
I know you're here. I've already sent the boy. My role in this eternal dance has come to an end. I do not belong here. I welcome death at your hand. Make this a fitting finale.
I'm not gonna lie, Ryoku kinda cooking with this. Unfortunately, that's pretty much for it about Ryoku. The fight is basically the same as Vina, aka being more of a quote-unquote mission tutorial instead of adding in anything interesting about him. Now that Han Hao is asking us to travel once more, even with both Sirius and Orion seeking his trail, as he needs one more thing, something that can put this foul mockery to an end. So to the Uranus Proxima we go. Han Hao also talks about how the void has affected this family of theirs and that sacrifice is needed to stop all of this. And this void spark is all they need. Sorry. And yep, can't be that easy, huh? And just as the baby is in danger, Stalker brought him the void spark and then make some bargain with the void and got dementia. The story ends with Stalker cooking for his son and a family lunch, which is undisputedly the best part about this story. It is honestly such a small moment, but it conveys much more than what this 40-minute quest could ever. Easily the most beautiful part of this story, though soured by poor writing. The climax of this story is so cheap and, in my opinion, downright disrespectful. The idea of trading yourself with the void just ruins the entire plot for zero reason at all. Because if you can do that, why don't you just do it immediately? And what is the point of all previous actions anyway? All these efforts just to do some ritual with the void to earn peace for this family? There is no confrontation of maybe, I don't know, the man in the wall. There are no moments where Sirius and Orion finally work together with his father and Han Hao to earn this peace through something fitting for a family. But no, let Han Hao do all of this by himself and trade his memory for peace. That makes the final moment unfulfilling, and in conjunction also make the lunch scene pretentious as fuck. Because Stalker never did anything to earn this, nor the sons actually bond with their father, leaving a supposedly wholesome moment incredibly unsatisfying. The writing of this climax sounds like nobody in the DE writing team has wrote anything about family. But that is just not the case, and it is saddening that they somehow fucked it up this time. The pacing is just as horrendous too. Everything feels so shallow, so quick, and so immediate. Everything must proceed at a breakneck speed. Almost all the major characters are just there to feel like they are something, but in the end, they barely matter. No rooms for the characters to develop, no rooms for memorable moments to grow, nothing. So, what is my verdict? The terrible execution just ruined everything. Although, I must clarify that the story has great potential. It has many elements that a great story will have. And it is such a shame that the sequel is riddled with poor execution, when its prequel Jade Shadows is a quest that I believe many will say it is pretty good.